do it, and we've got great opportunities. And look, part of it is people know and they appreciate good leadership. And the fact of the matter is, we've done that in the state of Florida. People are looking to Florida for leadership more than they ever have in the history of our state. We've had major issues of global significance even, and we've been on the forefront protecting people's rights, keeping people working, protecting our kids in school. And I think you see a huge groundswell of support out there to recognize that leadership. But it's also the case that people also recognize while the state of Florida may be on the right track, they understand our country's leadership is taking us on the wrong track. And you've seen, I don't know if you saw, we did have a visitor earlier this week down in South Florida. It's a fella that was wandering around a little aimlessly. I don't know if he really knew where, so they had to get him situated. He was making a lot of misstatements as usual. And it's interesting, you see this, because these people are so predictable. The regime media is going to knife this guy in the back as soon as the Democrats get blown out on Tuesday, because they see him as a liability. Because you guys see the lack of leadership in Washington. We have the worst inflation we've had in 4 decades, and it's because his policies have facilitated it. We have energy problems like we haven't had in many years because they've declared war on our own domestic energy production. You can go beg Maduro from oil, and somehow that's not global warming, but if we produce our own, that's somehow a bad thing. So they are causing you to pay more for energy. It's not just gas prices, it's utilities, it's the cost of goods because the energy goes into everything that is produced. And so they're doing that. So yes, those are really bad things people are having to contend with, which is bad enough. But voters know that Biden is making these problems so bad. He's creating these problems. And so there's a lot of folks, they're running now trying to say like they're going to do all these things when, they've been supporting Biden the whole time. So people understand that. And I think what's going to happen, you're starting to see a little trickles of it. But these regime media outlets in New York and D.C., you're going to start seeing stories after the midterms. Biden may not be physically fit to be president. He may have, this or that, and you're going to start seeing that. And there's going to be a drum. Now, they should have done this 2 years ago, and it was obvious he shouldn't have been running for president, but they didn't do that because they had an agenda. Well, now I think their agenda is going to be that they want to push him aside because they view him as a liability. So stay tuned for that. I'm usually right about these things because these people are very easy to see. We see their narratives, so you know what they're going to do. You see it from a mile away.